Hey, Urban listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, Ed and Liz. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. Since this is a psychology, you can't even really see the logo anymore. It's all washed out in that light in the back. Maybe I should turn off that. I don't know. This isn't that big of a deal. Is that going to bother me? Is that going to bother you? I don't know. Maybe I should create some sort of shadowing. Maybe if I do this the entire video. But you know what channel this is, hopefully. This is a psychology YouTube channel, so we might talk about some triggering material, so watch with care. Let's watch.
Hey, what's up?
Don't you think divorce do you think that's a healthy place to have a confrontation? And then you don't care to think about where Riley is going to go?
Okay, so to catch you up, he is waiting at a bar and restaurant for Liz to show up so that he can have a conversation about them calling off the wedding and I think breaking up. And she is calling instead and saying, do you think that the restaurant is a good place for us to have, I think she said confrontation, but they had the subtitle or the, what do you call it, the closed captioning, that she said conversation. Either way, yeah. He said earlier that he wanted to meet her at a neutral location, which, if you didn't know the situation, you would think that he was afraid that she was going to explode and hit him or be abusive or something. Why would you do this at a public place? It's such an important conversation. Why would you want random people around? A waiter comes up to the table. This is a potential conversation that might last many, many hours, maybe over several different incidents, 10 different conversations over the span of a couple months. That's the typical, I think, healthy way to break up, depending on the situation. But the other possibility is that he is avoiding and just wants to have a very short conversation because he just, I don't know, what is it? He doesn't want to face any kind of scrutiny. That's my guess. What do you think?
Liz, you're her mom. You haven't spoke to me in 3 days.
Oh, and then she said something about Riley.
Don't you think divorce do you think that's a healthy place to have a confrontation?
Yeah, she definitely said confrontation. That's a different word than conversation. So there's that. Which makes me wonder if, I don't know if I'm looking into this through a Shenanigans lens, but a confrontation, I wonder if she's saying, look, for us to have this confrontation conversation, shouldn't we do it in front of the cameras at a different location? I don't know. I don't know if I'm paranoid. Then she said, I could see a scenario where they broke up off camera prior to the season beginning, meaning that prior to the, because the cameras show up for a period of time, and they either were convinced by producers or they came up with this themselves that they should try to do some of it on camera. I know stuff like that happens occasionally. I've talked with people on 90 Day Fiancé specifically and all the ancillary shows that they will do stuff like that. If you just think about the last season of Darcy and Stacey, that, right? Darcy and Stacey, what was it called? I can't remember. I think was it called 90 Day Fiancé Darcy's? Anyway, that final the previous seasons seemed legit for the most part, particularly the first couple, but that final season just seemed like the whole thing was one massive shenanigans, right? And I'll just never forget, in one of the final episodes, they were at dinner for a rehearsal for the wedding or something, and it just seemed like even the cast could not fake enough so that the editors couldn't get any footage of that scene without someone in the background kind of smirking instead of angry like they're supposed to be. Anyway, so, because the other thing is, like, if they do break up in this moment and get back together, what's the chance that, or, I guess maybe it is what it is, that they had a wedding coming, and of course the cameras would want to be there in the ramp up, and so I don't know. But anyway, so then she asks about Riley, and then you don't even think about Riley.
You don't care to think about where Riley is gonna go.
And then you don't care to think about where Riley's going to go. I think meaning if you and I are at a restaurant, then Riley doesn't have anywhere to be, but presumably someone in his family, and her family's in town too because of the wedding. So I don't know.
No,
Liz, you're her mom. You haven't spoke to me in 3 days. I don't know what.
spoke to me in 3 days.
You haven't spoken to me in 3 days. You left while I was sleeping, and I had to find out from the officiant that you had called off the wedding, and you haven't talked to me yet. So, not a good argument to make it. All right, just chiming in here. The rest of this episode will be just for members of the YouTube channel, so you can watch this whole episode by clicking the join button below. Otherwise, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.